I'm a hard times guy. Today I want to talk to you about, for just a little while, truth again. A while back, that was 9/11 this year. I think that came on a Sunday. That evening, after my family was here and visited all day and did our normal Sunday thing, my granddaughter Holly, she posted a picture on Facebook of Betty, her grandmother, and Jackson and Dawson, her two sons. And that picture got quite a lot of notice and a lot of likes on Facebook, and it caused me to start thinking about some things. And so I'm going to go back to that today and talk about some things that I was prompted to think about because of that picture. And I want to talk about truth, because that picture was, I started to say, a quest for truth, but it wasn't a quest. It was Betty, her recognizing that these young boys had been exposed to some information in school that week, and they were interested in what they heard. And it's not that they were not told the truth, but it's that their perception of what happened wasn't the truth. And she wanted to clear that up for them. She overheard them talking about the things that they were introduced to in school, and she realized that they weren't getting it. They were missing part of it. They were talking about the Twin Towers, and one building fell over and knocked the other one down, and just some of the things that they were saying caused Betty to realize that they had shown interest in a subject, but they had missed out on some very important details. So she sat them down. She said, "Boys, come here a minute." And she got them on either side of her, and she got this book out that we have about the events of that day, 9/11, and the terrorist attack on our country, the Twin Towers, the Pentagon, and Flight 93 that went down in a field short of what most of us believe was the target was the White House. And she began to talk to those boys about that day and what happened. And she had me get the television in that room on YouTube, and bring up some video from that day that was posted on YouTube. Video that showed the planes flying into the towers, video that showed the towers collapsing, video that showed people running away from the scene. And so the boys got a much better understanding of what happened that day. They began to understand what happened, and they sat and asked her questions, and she sat and talked to them and addressed their questions for them. And one of the things that I noticed during all this was those boys had no idea what a terrorist was. And I thought, you know what, if they watch the news today and some of the stuff's going on about parents and school boards and about the FBI and our current Attorney General and some of the letters that he wrote and instructions he gave people, they listened to that, they could think Grandma Betty was a terrorist, because some of the beliefs that she has about how parents and grandparents and family members should be involved in your children's lives, and how they should be concerned about what they learn or don't learn at school, and just some of the things that's on the news today. That where some of our highest officials in our government are calling people that voice concerns like that domestic terrorists. So it was good that these boys had this discussion with Grandma that day. And the youngest one, I remember one of the questions he asked, and he was amazed that the terrorists took over the plane and that they didn't care that they were going to die too. They purposely crashed that plane and killed all the people and killed themselves. And they had no idea that that was the kind of a thing that a terrorist might do. So that's what prompted me to start thinking about some of these things. And I'm going to say next that it's hard to find the truth. And I've made other videos about this. At least 3 of them that I know of. They're in a playlist called The Hard Truth. And there's 3 videos in that playlist. If you go find one of them, it probably lets you watch the whole playlist, all 3 of those videos. The first one is a video called The Truth or Consequences. The second one is The Cold, Hard, Elusive Truth. And the third one is Great Social and Political Import. And those videos are all about the truth and how important it is that we have the truth and how difficult it is to find the truth. And if you haven't seen those, they're worth watching. And I wanted to mention that again today because I think it's important that we have the truth. And the truth is getting harder and harder to have, harder and harder to find. And I was playing cards the other night with some people. One of them that was playing cards, he was talking about this subject. He wasn't talking about truth, he was talking about knowledge and how hard it was years ago for people to obtain knowledge because, well, one of the things in a set of encyclopedias cost a great deal of money. That is, a great deal of money relative to what portion of a family's income it represented to buy a set of encyclopedias. So he's saying a lot of people didn't have the opportunity even to be able to obtain knowledge the way we do today, because he was sitting there thumbing his phone and he's saying we got all the knowledge in the world right there at our fingertips. And I thought, well, that's true and it's not true, because we've got people today who are trying to keep the truth from us or have us hear the truth that they want us to hear, and it's not necessarily the truth. It might be something else. It might be their opinion or their idealistic view of something, and that's what they want us to find. And big tech and certain others manipulate that. If you don't believe me, just go get on your phone or get on your computer and search something. Pick out something and search that. The very first thing you're going to find when you search anything is an opportunity to buy something. They're trying to sell you something based on what your search input was. You get an opportunity to buy something. That's the first thing. So the dollar bill is the #1 driver of what information is available to you. The opportunity for somebody to profit from what you show an interest in. And then, depending on what else it is you're trying to find, it may be the next thing you find, or it may be very difficult, several layers deep, to try to find information about what you're wanting to find. And somebody controls that. And they're not all motivated by truth anymore, like they were years and years ago when they printed an encyclopedia. In an encyclopedia, if it didn't tell you the truth, nobody wanted to buy it. I mean, somebody would find out something that wasn't true in it, and they'd say, this whole thing, this disqualifies the whole thing as being worthwhile. And a newscaster could tell you something that wasn't true, and he would destroy his reputation by reporting something to you that wasn't true or wasn't accurate. It's not like that anymore. So I've said all this before in these other videos that I mentioned to you, so I'm going to go on, because what I want to do today is, before I leave this, I want to express the importance that we have, you and I, as adults. I'm a senior citizen. I'm the patriarch of my family. I have a responsibility to see to it that my family knows the truth about important things. My children can find the truth. And if I have access to it or knowledge that adds to truth, it's my responsibility to share it with them. And that's a biblical principle. The Bible tells us that. It's our responsibility to be the teachers. It's not somebody else. It's not the school board. It's not the teacher over here at the high school or in the middle school or in the grade school. Yes, they're there to educate our children, but what they learn and how they learn it, number one responsibility is right here. It falls on me and you. It's up to us to have an interest, to have an input in what children are taught and what they learn and how, and teach them how to find the truth for themselves. That's up to us. That's our responsibility. And if we don't do it, somebody will. That somebody may not care about the truth. They may have something else that they care about, that they want our children to be influenced by. So take that responsibility to heart, seriously. I'm a hard times guy.